Imagine moving into your dream home, only to find a strange truck lurking down the street, watching your every move. At first, you think it's just a coincidence, but then the truck keeps coming back, creeping slowly, staring hard. One night, you hear soft tapping on your window late in the dark, the kind of sound that chills you to the bone. Then, the unimaginable happens. You catch a glimpse of a man standing just outside your baby's room, watching quietly. How would you feel knowing someone is watching your family without your knowledge? This is not a story from a movie. It really happened. Stay with us as we uncover the terrifying events behind the creepy truck and the man watching the baby. Watch till the end. You won't believe what happens next. Don't miss out on these true chilling moments. The mysterious voice on the Bluetooth speaker? Last February, when I was 22, I needed some time alone before starting my new job, so I booked a small cabin for a weekend. It was about 3 hours away from my home, outside a small town called Norfield. The cabin was simple but nice. It had one bedroom, a small kitchen, a bathroom, and a living area. I took my phone, a book, and a Bluetooth speaker with me. When I arrived around 4 p.m. on Friday, the cabin was clean, and the owner had left a note with the key and basic instructions. There was no cell service, but I didn't mind. I unpacked, made something to eat, and spent the evening reading. Later, I played some songs from my phone on the speaker and went to bed feeling relaxed. The cabin was exactly what I needed: quiet, isolated, and peaceful. I thought this would be the perfect way to rest before starting my new job. Little did I know, the weekend would turn strange and scary in ways I never expected. The next morning, I took a walk outside and spent most of the day enjoying the quiet. I played some music from my phone through the Bluetooth speaker while cleaning the cabin, and everything seemed normal. But that evening, as I was sitting on the couch with my phone on the table, something strange happened. The speaker was still on, but I wasn't playing any music. Suddenly, I heard a low crackling sound coming through the speaker, followed by a man's voice. The voice started counting down slowly from 10. I looked at my phone. Nothing was playing. The voice was unfamiliar and did not come from any of my files. I turned the speaker off, confused and a little scared. I thought maybe the speaker picked up a nearby signal, but the cabin was in the middle of nowhere. No one else was around. I didn't hear anything else that night and went to bed early, trying to ignore what had happened. The next day, I kept the speaker turned off and my phone on airplane mode. I spent the day outside, hoping the strange sounds wouldn't return. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. That night, just before midnight, I was brushing my teeth when I heard a low sound coming from the living room. The Bluetooth speaker, which I thought was off, suddenly turned on by itself. The same muffled man's voice I heard before he started playing again. But this time, it wasn't counting down numbers. It was slowly repeating my name over and over. I grabbed my phone to check if anything was playing, but there was nothing. The speaker was still paired to my phone, but no audio should have been coming from it. Fear washed over me as I quickly turned the speaker off again. This time, I removed the batteries and placed the speaker face down on the table. The rest of the night was quiet, but I kept waking up, checking doors, windows, and watching the speaker to make sure it didn't turn on again. When morning came, I decided to pack up early and leave, even though I had planned to stay one more night. Before leaving, I wrapped the speaker in a towel, put it in a bag, and tossed it in a public trash bin on my way home. I never figured out how or why the speaker played voices that didn't exist in my files or turned on by itself. Since then, I avoid using voice memos and keep Bluetooth off most of the time. The second abandoned cabin and the time loop? This happened 2 years ago when I was 26 and working from home in Boston. After a long, stressful period at work, I wanted some time alone. So I found a small cabin in northern Maine through a local rental site. The cabin looked basic and remote, exactly what I needed to relax. The owner gave me directions over the phone because the cabin wasn't on GPS. I had to follow rough landmarks like an old wooden sign and a dirt road ending near the forest. The drive took most of the day, and I lost phone signal about half an hour before I arrived. When I got there, the cabin looked just like the photos, simple but cozy. I unpacked, made some tea, and sat outside enjoying the calm and quiet. The area was peaceful, not creepy, just still. I felt like I could finally relax and take a break from everything. The isolation was perfect, and I planned to spend the next few days enjoying the peace before returning to work. But little did I know, things nearby would soon feel strange and unsettling. The morning after my arrival, I decided to take a walk behind the cabin. There was no marked trail, but the trees were spaced out enough to walk through easily. After about 15 to 20 minutes, I spotted something in the distance, another cabin. This one was older and rundown, looking like it hadn't been used in years. I hadn't expected to see anything else nearby, since the area was supposed to be isolated. Curious, I walked closer to get a better look. The cabin was about the same size and shape as mine, but very weathered. I stepped onto the porch just to get a better view, but I didn't try the door or go inside. Something about it made me feel uneasy, though I couldn't explain why. It wasn't anything obvious, just a strange feeling in my gut. I stayed on the porch a bit longer, but decided not to go any further. That old cabin stood as a quiet reminder of the past in this peaceful place. Still, its presence unsettled me more than I expected. I headed back to my cabin, trying to shake off the uneasy feeling, but it stayed with me longer than I wanted. That night, I went to bed as usual, but around 3 a.m., I woke up thinking I heard something outside. It wasn't loud, just a faint sound that made me stay still and listen. After a while, everything went quiet again, so I didn't get up to check. The next morning, I packed my things, planning to stay 2 more days, but I just didn't feel comfortable anymore. Something about the place didn't feel right. I spent the day inside my cabin, trying to relax, but I kept checking the windows, feeling watched. Later, I found some posts online from local forums where others mentioned old cabins in the woods and strange feelings nearby. It was strange to see others had experienced similar things. I didn't dig deeper, but it made me feel less alone in my experience. Before I left, I looked around one last time, but nothing out of the ordinary happened. I still wonder about that old abandoned cabin and the quiet, repeating night. Maybe it was just my imagination, but the feeling has stayed with me ever since. The creepy truck and the man watching the baby. A few months ago, after my wife and I bought our first home, strange things started happening. One day, I noticed a truck parked about 2 or 3 houses down from us. It had no company logo and looked old and dirty. Our neighborhood is small and everyone usually knows each other, so seeing this truck there felt out of place. The truck moved slowly down the street, not like someone just passing through, but like someone creeping around, trying not to be seen. When I pulled into my driveway, the truck suddenly turned and came back toward our house. The driver looked straight at me with a hard, angry stare before speeding off. Later that evening, my wife told me she had seen the same truck earlier that day. The man inside stared at her the whole time she walked to the front door. We both felt uneasy because the truck appeared twice in one day, once when she was alone and once when I came home. This wasn't normal for our quiet neighborhood. It felt like someone was watching us, and that feeling stayed with us for weeks as the truck kept showing up. After a few weeks of seeing the truck, it suddenly stopped showing up, but new strange things began happening at our home. My wife and I started hearing soft tapping on the windows late at night. It happened 2 or 3 times to each of us, always when we were alone. The sound was quiet but clear, like someone lightly tapping with one finger on the metal part of our screen door. Our house is old, so we're used to creaks and pops, but this was different. It didn't sound like normal house noises. The first time we heard it together was one night when we were sitting in the front room playing with our daughter. The room has a large window facing the street, and at night, it feels like anyone outside could see inside. We froze when we heard the tapping. I told my wife to take our daughter to a back room and lock the door while I turned on every light in the house and went outside with a flashlight. I checked around, but no one was there. Still, the feeling that someone was watching us didn't go away. One night, while helping my daughter fall asleep in her room, I noticed something chilling. The room has windows forming an L shape, and from the doorway, I could see the far corner outside through the glass. As I stood up to put my daughter in her crib, I caught a glimpse of a man wearing a light gray hoodie, standing just a few feet from the window. I didn't get a good look at his face, but his presence was clear and close. Feeling terrified, I ran to the bedroom with my daughter and told my wife to lock the door. I turned off all the lights inside and switched on every outside light, then checked the house carefully. No one was outside when I looked, so whoever it was must have run off. Since that night, I haven't been able to sleep well. The constant feeling of being watched, combined with the soft tapping sounds and the strange truck sightings, has left me on edge. I keep wondering, if someone could get that close once, what's stopping them from coming even closer next time? This experience has shaken me deeply, especially because it involved my daughter's safety. If this story gave you chills, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more real scary stories that will keep you up at night. Have you ever felt like someone was watching your home or family? What would you do if you saw a stranger lurking outside your window? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your story might be featured next. And stay tuned for our next video. 2 creepy TRU 4th of July horror stories, 2 terrifying tales that will make you think twice about celebrating.